Authorities in Gaza say at least 195 Palestinians have been killed and 120 are still missing after a second day of Israeli strikes on the Jabalia refugee camp. Israel says one of its bombs killed a Hamas commander in charge of anti-tank missiles. The Gaza Health Ministry says at least 8,800 Palestinians have been killed since October the 7th. 40% of them were children and a quarter were women. Egypt says it will help evacuate roughly 7,000 foreigners from Gaza. It allowed the first foreign passport holders and seriously wounded Palestinians through its Rafah crossing on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Jordan became the first country in the Middle East to recall its ambassador to Israel as protests in Jordan increase over Israel's continued bombardment of Gaza. Well, let's now bring in Noor Harazin. She's live for us at the Al-Aqsa Hospital in Gaza. Noor, what's the latest from where you are?
Well, the latest is a continuous and ongoing Israeli strikes in northern Gaza, southern Gaza, middle Gaza, and so many areas around the Gaza Strip. This comes along with the wide-scale land invasion and Israeli heavy shelling on Palestinian.
Well, Noor Harazin, we will return to her in a moment if we can. But for now, let's cross over to Yasser Hakim, who is in the Egyptian city of Al Arish near the Rafah crossing with Gaza. He's live for us there. Yasser, the injured have been coming through into Egypt for treatment, and there were expectations that some foreign passport holders and more injured people would be allowed through from Gaza today. What's the latest from there?
Yes, we expect more to be allowed in today. There's just some logistics. The Egyptian government says there are 60 nationalities, those 7,000 that you mentioned, foreigners, and the government has to be in touch with all these nationalities, embassies and officials in Egypt or anywhere to guarantee that their passports are valid, that they are actually residents of these countries or they hold the nationalities, and that they are given permits according to the embassy's requests to give permits to those people or those foreigners to go into the country, but on condition that they leave immediately to their home residence. So it's a logistics situation that will take time. 7,000 is a lot. Yesterday, the barely 400 had managed to cross in one day. So we're talking about maybe days and even more, maybe weeks or something to get. Same thing with the injured. We expect more injured to come in, but we don't know yet how many will be crossing the border. But the hospitals are ready. 3 hospitals in this area where I am, and in Cairo as well. They're all ready to receive any more patients during the next few days. Back to you.
And what about the pressure for more aid trucks to be allowed into Gaza? How's that panning out?
Yes, it's very frustrating for officials here, for the UN and all aid charity organizations that have been sending aid in the thousands of tons now, and they're all queuing up here in Egypt, especially in Al Arish where I am. This has been a storage city. That's how much aid is coming in, but so little is trickling through the border. The highest number was 60 yesterday, 60 trucks. The government says it wants more to go in. WHO says Gazans need at least 200 trucks per day. At least, that's the minimum to cover the needs of the 2.2 million or more in Gaza who do not feel the amount of aid that is coming in, because it's only 10 to 15 trucks a day or a maximum 20 a day. So there's still a lot to be done. There's a lot of diplomatic effort going behind the scenes between different organizations and countries to try to push for more aid to be allowed in by Israel to reach the Palestinians, or at least the UNRWA in Palestine, so that in Gaza, so that they can help distribute it to the Palestinians under siege in Gaza. Back to you.
All right, Yasser Hakim for us there in Al Arish in Egypt. Thank you. Well, let's return to Noor Harazin. She's operating under very difficult circumstances there. She's joining us now from Gaza. Noor, if you can hear me, I know you're operating under difficult circumstances. How is the situation there in terms of aid delivery and humanitarian assistance for those who need it?
Well, over the past days, specifically Egypt reopened the Rafah border, allowing more aid to enter the Gaza Strip, and also allowed tens of those who were injured in Gaza to leave to Egypt to get treatment in Egyptian hospitals, and also allowed hundreds of Palestinians, foreigners who are holding other passports, American, European, to leave the Gaza Strip in an effort for them to evacuate Gaza. However, regarding the aid, it is a very little number of aid that is entering the Gaza Strip. It is not enough to meet the needs of the Gaza Strip. Now, with this land invasion, the people of Gaza, more people are fleeing, more people are taking shelter in schools and hospitals, more people are actually getting killed and injured and arriving here to the hospital. So it is something continuous. Actually, most of the aid, let's talk, for example, about the food packages that some families who are taking shelter in UN schools received. It's a box with 2 liters of oil, a bag of lentils, a bag of rice, a bag of flours. These will not be enough for the families for 2 or 3 days. What will happen to them next? So this is the situation, because it is an ongoing offensive here in Gaza, war on Gaza, and also an ongoing humanitarian crisis. People can hardly feel the entry of the humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip, even if we're talking about the most basic, which is the water. People, including me, myself, we are facing a hardship. There's actually no access to drinking water here in Gaza. The situation is deteriorating. We're not only talking about food and water, but also, for example, children's diaper, women sanitary pads, milk, medicine. All of these things are running out of Gaza's markets.